keeps saying, I'm just a professional. Everybody keeps saying that to me. I'm just a professional. I'm just a professional. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing that. You understand?
This is my disclaimer for my DIY videos. I'm not a professional. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Under no circumstances attempt to follow any of the instructions presented. Today we are doing the transfer case oil, changing the transfer case oil on my 2019 Lexus GX460. So just a little background on the oil and what I'm using. I did an intro video on all these fluids, kind of covered it, but I'll do a quick summary right here. So the transfer case oil is like a quart and a half is what it holds. And Toyota part number is this LF75W. And that oil from Toyota is $130 a quart, which, I think Toyota's gotten a little big for their britches. They obviously don't make their own oil, so it's just ridiculous, $130 a quart. So I found this Ravenol MTF3 75W, which is this, and it's spec'd for. The important part about this oil is that it's API GL4, not GL5. GL5 is what you put in the differentials. And the GL4 is made for gearing that has soft components in it, maybe brass or bronze. You use GL4 in manual transmissions. So this Toyota oil is a GL4, this LF75W. And the Toyota part number, so this Ravenol lists all the what it's compatible with. And the Toyota part number is this one. It's 08885-81080. And so it lists 3 different Toyota part numbers here that it's compatible with. But I think the important, I don't know why straight 75W is kind of hard to find, and I don't know why, Toyota specs this. But anyhow, this is compatible with the Toyota oil, and this is $37 a quart. So you need 2 quarts. So I spent $74 instead of $260 for the Toyota oil. So that's the background on this oil that I'm using. So in my mind, the differentials, there's 2 differentials. The oil in the differentials is GL5, which I think has additives in it for hypoid chromium steel gears, I guess, to stick to the gears. And the GL5 I think can be corrosive to any soft components that potentially I would assume are in the transfer case if Toyota spec'd a different oil. So I'm not using the differential oil, the 75W85, in the transfer case. Just my research shows that they are different oils. So I'm gonna go with this Ravenol because it's more cost effective, and from my research, it's a German oil. It's compatible with what Toyota requires to put in this transfer case. So transfer case, pretty simple. Got the 24 millimeter fill and drain. So 24 millimeter socket in my breaker bar, and this should be pretty quick. Okay, so we always want to do the fill plug first and make sure I can get it off. Oh yeah, that wasn't tight at all. compared to the transmission fill plug was, I'd have really had a crank on that. I don't think shouldn't be any oil coming out of there. Didn't expect oil coming out of there. So the vehicle's cold, ice cold. It's been sitting overnight. So the plug looks like it's got a aluminum gasket on it. So that's the overflowing. I'm going to see how much I get out of that, because like I said, none of these, the only thing that's ever been changed on this vehicle, 83,000 miles, is the oil. None of the other fluids have been changed. So I want to try to get back in there what Lexus put in there at the factory. So I'm going to capture everything that comes out of it and try to put the same thing back into it. So I'm going to let this drain out of the fill. I'm just curious to see how much comes out of there. Oh, and I also want to talk about the recommended change intervals. So on the transfer case, I mentioned in my prep video for these fluid changes that I put 20,000 miles on this vehicle since I bought it, and I've towed 2,000 miles. So for the transfer case, my service manual has no requirement to change the oil. When towing, the 2 asterisks are towing. The 1 asterisk is just under normal conditions, according to my service manual that came with the vehicle. So under towing, it says change every 30,000 miles. The transfer case and also the differentials. So that's why I'm changing it. The oil coming out of there now, I'm just letting the fill plug drain. It looks brand new, and it smells brand new. It's not dark or burnt or anything like that. So yeah, I forgot to cover the replacement interval. Okay, so I got about two ounces out of the overfill as from the factory, how much oil's in the transfer case. Now we'll do the drain. All right, now the drain plug. Yeah, so when I go back in with these plugs, I'm not gonna put a torque wrench on them. I've got plenty of torque wrenches. I just don't see a need to torque plugs. I kind of take note of how tight they are coming out, but I've never torqued a drain plug in my 50 years of working on vehicles. I'm not going to start now. But I am going to change the gaskets on these because I'm not going to be towing anymore. This will be the first and only time I'll ever change the transfer case oil, since I don't intend to tow anymore with this. The gasket is still here. Yeah, these aren't magnetic plugs, so it's just the plug and the gasket. All right, we're gonna let that drain. And I also have no problems reusing the gaskets that come off these fill plugs. I did purchase a set of transfer case and differential gaskets on eBay. Genuine Toyota. This is the part number. I paid $17.48 for these 3, 2 crush washers, kind of flat gasket. These are the 2 gaskets for the differential, these 2, and then I'm not sure what this one's for. So this gasket, because there's so little torque on this, there's nothing wrong with this gasket. I would have no problems reusing this. There's no grooves in it. There's not enough torque to even squash this. It's the exact same size as the one that I bought, and same thickness. So yeah, there's no reason to replace this. None at all. It's not crushed. It's not grooved. It looks fine. So I may or may not. In fact, I'm just going to reuse this. Even though I have the new one, I'm going to reuse this one because it just makes no sense to replace it. One thing I am going to do, there is corrosion on this transfer case. I don't think it ever saw salt until this past winter when I was up in Pennsylvania and got it coated. I mean, coated with salt. So I think this is a result of just one exposure to the salt this past winter, and there is a lot of corrosion. There's an edge of corrosion. I mean, pretty big. I mean, I can definitely catch in my nail. So I am going to knock that down, because if the gasket doesn't seat exactly in this recess, if it sits up on this corrosion, that's going to be a problem. So I'm just going to go around and knock that corrosion off. All right, so I got it off. So there's nothing catching my nail anymore. It's all flush. And I don't think there's any risk of getting any sanding debris inside the transfer case with that oil still dripping out of there. It's just gonna. If there's any debris, it's just gonna run out with that oil as it continues to leak out of there. Yeah, that's good. No more lip. So I got exactly 48 ounces out of there, which is the Toyota manual. So that's what it holds, 48 ounces. Transfer case, 1.5 quart, which is 32 plus 16, 48 ounces. So that's what I'm going back in with. So I'm going to measure it as it comes out of my containers. All right, my fill plug gasket I am going to replace. It's got a big groove in it. So right here, so that was torqued. I don't know, either the mating surface of the bolt shoulder, something caused because it wasn't any torqued any more than the drain plug when I broke them loose. But this has a big groove that potentially, if not seated in the exact same place, could cause it not to seat properly. So I'm going to replace that gasket because I don't like the looks of the one that came out of there. Yeah, that one's junk. All right, so check the gaskets, make sure they're nice and flat. All right, come back in with the new oil. This is a liter, which is essentially the same as a quart, 1.05 quart. So this is interesting. Before you put a pair of channel locks on these lids, there's an instruction that says pull up and then turn. But what it means is you pull these little tabs from the side, pull up, and then I think this cap unscrews. So you get a little pour spout built into the bottle. Huh. I guess I don't even need a pump. I can just pump it with this bottle. Now this bottle's worth the cost of admission. Toyota, for $135, you should have a cool little gadget like this. All right, so let's see if I can. I was gonna start pumping this stuff, but it doesn't look like I have to. Praise the Lord. All right, let's try this thing out. Oh, brilliant. That's about as high as I can get the bottle with the drive shaft. It's still .300 milliliters in there. Okay, to try to empty this bottle, I just cut a piece of the hose off my pump that I was going to use over here. Stuck it on here. I think I can get the jug higher. Yeah. All right, no problemo. Empty the jug. Pretty cool. All right, so that's a quart. Germans are pretty smart. I'm German, but I don't know if I'm that smart. All right, so I'm gonna put half of this jug in 500 milliliters. A liter is 1,000 milliliters. So check this thing out. Pull this up. Pull on these tabs. That comes up. Then you unscrew this. And the spout comes up. I'm really fascinated with this bottle. All right, so I'm kind of gonna watch this, and then I'm gonna cap it when I get, even though it's still running, I'm gonna cap it when I get 500 milliliters out of this jug. 600. $500. Actually, not quite 500, which is perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna cap it there. New gasket. Seat it. Digging into the gasket right there. All right, transfer case is done for the rest of the vehicle's life. Yeah, that job wasn't bad at all. It's easier than changing oil. No mess, no cleanup. These jugs really help not having to deal with a transfer pump. So yeah, good to go. Moving on to the differentials. Peace out.